Bramble the Mountain King is my game of the year.
Here we go.
Welcome back to another video. I don't even know how to begin this video. I feel like trying to explain this game would be incredibly difficult unless there's like this common frame of reference. So in other words, you would need to have played the game in order for us to have a discussion about it. But I want to try because I do feel like this game is going to fly underneath most people's radars, and I don't want that to happen because I mean it when I say I'm 100% serious that after experiencing this game, this is my game of the year. It is better than Final Fantasy 16. It is better than Tears of the Kingdom. I'm not talking graphically. I'm not even talking about gameplay innovation like Tears of the Kingdom introduced in the series, going from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom. I'm talking about a feeling. I'm talking about the ability to elicit emotion from the player in a way that most games simply cannot do. The themes that are expressed in this game, let me try and boil it down to the simplest thing that I can think of. So, evil for evil's sake, and then sometimes good people do bad things to try and get a good outcome. So evil for evil, evil for good. At the end of the day, it's still evil. And how does that affect people? How does that affect people in a fantasy world? And if you think about movies like Legend with Tom Cruise or The Never-Ending Story, those worlds, or even like a movie like Labyrinth with David Bowie, that kind of fantasy-esque world, those kind of fairy tales, the grim fairy tales, but not the reworked fairy tales for children to help them fall asleep. I'm talking about the darkest themes are explored in this game. Without spoiling it, let me give you a situation that's presented in this game. You meet a man who loved to play the fiddle, but everyone in this village hated this man for no reason, and they tortured him, and they beat him to the point where one day he decided to play this forbidden melody, which caused everyone in the village to dance uncontrollably, to the point where everyone died, and their corpses were still twitching on the ground trying to dance. Now, everyone died, including the woman that he loved. So he carries her into these woods and morphs into this ugly, evil being and stays there for all of eternity. And you have to traverse through his domain. That's just one of the themes that are tackled. And the way that the game presents that to you is visually. And it hits so hard because the themes are so real. Another one, a woman wants to get power, so she sacrifices her newborn baby to some evil to get that power. And I'm talking about the game doesn't pull any punches. You're going to see this. You're going to experience this as these characters. And you'll never forget some of the scenes that this game takes you through. And as you move through them, sure, there's gameplay, and it's very good. There's light platforming, there's puzzle solving, there's the use of light and darkness for some of the puzzles, and a lot of it is exploration-based. There's some stealth-based gameplay in there, and there are even boss battles, if you want to call them that, because they just don't feel like boss battles. They feel like this confrontation that builds up over time because of all of this heavy subject matter that's presented to you. So the common theme throughout the game is evil begets evil, even when you're doing it to sort of get back at people for doing bad things to you, even when you have to do something terrible to save a loved one. It's the only thing you can possibly do. And this is another situation, and I won't ruin it, but there's a situation where the only way to save someone that you absolutely love is to do something that you really shouldn't do. And is that a good enough excuse to commit an evil act, as opposed to just these evil people in the world doing evil things? There's this juxtaposition between good people doing bad and bad people doing bad, but the outcome in the world is just outright evil. And graphically, the way that the game represents that in the world is breathtaking. This game, yes, it has some issues. It's not as graphically impressive as, again, I'm going to talk about those big games that release, Final Fantasy 16, Tears of the Kingdom, but I feel like stylistically, this game and the graphics and the way that the art comes together, it is absolutely breathtaking. The world is stunning, and at times it is just, it's amazing when you're walking through some of the parts in this game. Just even the still parts where you're walking through a forest are and just incredible. I was blown away by this game, and I just cannot say enough about it. It is so hard hitting, one punch after the other, things that you never see, themes that you never see explored in video games. They're afraid to tackle these themes or even talk about them, and it's one after the other in this game, non-stop. Unbelievable experiences. The game is developed by Dimfrost. They're based in Sweden, and they decided to focus on Swedish mythology. The story comes from cautionary fables for children, and the monster design was inspired by John Bauer. Now, if you don't know who that is, he was a famous Swedish painter and illustrator who lived from 1882 to 1918. His work is concerned with landscapes and mythology, but he also composed portraits. He is best known for his illustrations of early editions of Among Gnomes and Trolls, an anthology of Swedish folklore and fairy tales. So essentially the game revolves around Ole, who's a young boy who discovers that his sister is missing, and he takes off to find her. Now that's basically just a simple explanation of who you are and your motivation at the start of this game. But again, I want to stress that this game has to be experienced. This is one of the best games that you'll play this year. This is a game that you'll never forget. You'll see things, you'll think about things, you'll be blown away by what's presented to you, you'll be uncomfortable, you'll be sick, you'll be angry. Everything in this game just speaks to the power of the medium of video games. This is why you play video games. You're going to remember this game forever. I promise you, this is something that you do not want to miss. As always, the comment section is there. If you played the game, let me know what you thought about it. If you didn't, and you are after watching this video, let me know. Please think about liking and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.